All right, what's up, people? What's up, Alex Truck? I hope I got your name right. Because this is by request, bro. And this shit might be a little bit long. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do this. You asked my opinion about a certain person. And, I didn't have 30 days to watch videos because that dude had a lot of videos. But the one I did watch, the one that, kind of called out to me was the something versus nothing video. Because that is the most fundamental question. And I think he got it mostly right. I will say that. I think he got it mostly right. And I'm gonna try to demonstrate that a little bit. But I do think that that's a little bit, how should I say? I'm not going to say disconnected, but it's slightly different than the question on non-duality. So I'm going to try to deal with both of those in this video. And this shit might go long. I have no fucking idea. But just let me know, if I don't really do this right, from what you're looking for. So when we talk about non-duality, what we're really referring to is a repudiation of a fundamental duality. And that fundamental duality is, of course, what I call self versus world, meaning that there's an internal self and an external world, and that those two are in opposition. So that I have this internal, and everybody has this, right? Every sentient being has this, is the concept of that I'm in here and everything else is out there. Meaning, for me, you're out there, she's out there, he's out there, everybody else is out there. That TV's out there, that ball's out there, the beer cans and all the shit is out there. The remote control and the card is out there. They are separate from me. I am the subject. Those are the objects. And then for you, you have your own set. So like you're you, and then you have all your, external things, etc. And that's the fundamental dichotomy. That's the fundamental dualism of basically the phenomena of perception, meaning the way that we intuit the world. And it's kind of necessary for it to be this way. These are the poisons when you get into that. So the idea of non-dualism is to basically say that there is no, it's kind of like relativity when it comes to that there is no preferential state of reference. Every state of reference is relative, depending on how fast you're traveling and the mass, etc. And the idea is that all of these things, these frames of reference, whether it be this way or this way, right? That those are created by the process itself. Meaning the process itself is what creates these things. And I'm going to try to demonstrate that, and I'm going to do this really funny on the back of a Hallmark card that says happy birthday. Because guess what? It was my birthday not too long ago. But, I can't write with my fucking left hand, so I'm going to have to fucking do this some weirdo shit. But let me go like this. So we're going to start off with the 0, right? Yeah, got to get that pen rolling. So we're going to start off with the 0. And the 0 is basically non-duality. But what we're going to do is we're going to make that dual. Because what we're going to do is we're going to say 0 equals 1 minus 1, right? That's true, isn't it? Now we're going to complexify that. We're going to go 0 equals 2 plus 1 minus 1 minus 2. Right? So you can already see what I'm getting ready to do here. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go here and I'm going to make the number line we're going to go 0. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to infinity. You like my infinity sign? That looks super like on the spot, right? Then we're going to go over here. We're going to go -1, -2, -3, -4. Fuck that. To negative infinity, right? I can't draw this lemniscate from my ass, so it's going to look like that. It's going to look goofy. So basically you have the number line, and that goes to infinity, right? But then what you have is and I did a video on this again, is you have dimensionality, which means basically you're going to go up here and you're going to go down here. That goes into the complex plane. So now you're basically looking at a grid, you know. You're looking at a grid, you're looking at points on a line, looking at dots, etc., etc. Here's the thing. The idea is that this is always what's actual. But this actuality can basically, it can acquire many forms, or what are called universes within a multiverse. So the idea is basically this. And when you go simple, stupid shit like this, oh yeah, it's just 1 minus 1. Okay, that's not really that complicated. But when you really get down into the deep maths of it, it gets super fucking complicated. It creates worlds. It creates entire planes of existence due to the complexity of it. And these are all internal measures. These are all things that are just relative to each other. So it's kind of like, is my finger long? Is this finger long? Well, it's long, but not compared to this pen. But is this pen long compared to this remote? Etc., etc. Everything is relative measure. When you understand that everything is relative measure, then that's what's called the expression field. Then that's when things start breaking through, because internal measurements create what are called sentient beings, or in other words, perceptive states of awareness. These things do not have to actually be tied to an entity or a being. They can be free flowing. You know, like you can have a separate sentience just as a measurement. We happen to live in a world that is dimensionalized enough to which those are kind of, how should I put this, coagulated or combined into things that we call, well, the Buddhists call bodies, but that we would call realities, or basically, like, I don't know how to put this, worldviews. Or it's kind of like when you get enough of this kind of momentum going, of the way that works, of the way this just simple thing works, 0 equals 1 minus 1, and then you get up into the complexities of it all. You start creating worlds, and then you start creating universes, and you start creating, and we happen to live in one that's a little bit higher up, you know, than just this simple ass bullshit, right? Because it's all going to be the same thing. It's all going to ultimately reduce to this, which is where the non-duality comes from, because the idea is that that is always equal to all of the representations of that. And it's not equal to that in any kind of time. It's not like this process has to happen within time. It's not like it's generative. So it's like, it's not like a computer program that has to go 0 and then, you know, kind of like that, I forget what the hell the name of that computer program was. Was it Deep Go or like AlphaGo? The one that learned Go, the most complicated game, and it learned it quickly, but it learned it by going through iterations. This is not an iterative state of affairs. This is an instantaneous state of affairs, meaning that the 0 is fundamentally equal to all of the things that are equal to it, just metaphysically. So once you have the 0, which is basically what's called emptiness essence within Buddhism, then you also have, meaning once you have nirvana, you also have samsara. Samsara is the kaleidoscope of reality. So once you have the one, you have the other immediately. It's not like it has to generate over time or anything like that. It's just like the very fact of its existence kind of creates, it doesn't create, there is no creation. This is atemporal. This is something, this is why words are so hard to put on this. But the idea is basically that once you have that state of affairs, you have all states of affairs. Everything basically pops into existence all at once. It's like, and even though we can take our particular universe that we live in, which I believe we can categorize, and we have started categorizing that's the nature of physical science, physics, etc., astrophysics, cosmology. We can actually map out where we exist within this whole framework of like, are we here? No, we're not here, but we're going to get down like to here, to where it's happy birthday, and we're going to fucking figure it out, is that we're this many levels down. And the Buddhists actually did this in a few tantras, where they were talking about where we exactly existed within the realm of, manifestation. Because ultimately, they would say this is the goal. But that's low teachings, in my opinion. I think the ultimate understanding is that you see everything kind of like this. You kind of see everything as pretty much there, no matter the fuck what. And there is nothing really to alter. Like, you're not trying to get somewhere. You're already where you are, and you're already where you're always going to be. You know what I mean? And so that's really where it's at. But you know what? This video is going on long enough. I don't know. Maybe I answered some of your questions, and maybe you just need to scan the barcode or some shit like that. No, I'm just kidding. But the idea of non-dualism is basically that the zero and the infinite expressions of the zero are not separate. They cannot possibly be separate. That's the fundamental non-duality. And then like what you do with that in your own reality is, I don't know what you're going to do with it. I mean, there really almost is, it's like Longchenpa said, there is nothing to do and no one to do it. It's there. And I know that sounds nihilist. I know that sounds fatalist, but it's really not. If you think about it, if you really dig deep into the teachings, you'll see that. But let me know if I helped you out with this request on non-duality, and I'll make another video if you want. I really do enjoy doing by requests. It's so much better than like calling out fake motherfuckers to go out in the street and get beat. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, happy birthday to me. And thanks for the question. That was a good question. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, as far as that guy goes, I just say the more somebody monetizes something, maybe the less credibility you want to give it. But that guy sounds like he kind of knows. I mean, but he's trying to make a buck at the same time. But then again, like I said, nothing is prohibited. There is nothing to do and no one to do it. So more power to him.